Our amazing Discord community has grown to over 400 members now, but how can new prospective pilots make the most out of the Discord channel? Let's talk about it. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Late Departure. I'm Adam, and as some of you may know, I am on my continuing journey to become a commercial airline pilot at a bit of a later age, at 37 years old now, but still trying my best. And one of the things that I did when I first started to learn how to fly, or before I even started to learn how to fly, was I did a lot of research on different flight schools, and I really wanted to try to find out which school was the best for me before I signed up for one. And one of the biggest resources for me was going around and talking with students and researching stuff. And I had so many people reach out to me after that asking on YouTube. Almost every day I get 10, 20 messages from people asking me about various flight schools, a lot of them from across the country. And unfortunately, I'm here in Vancouver. I'm on the west coast of Canada, so I actually don't get all the way out to the east coast. So it's a little hard for me to talk with students from that far because it's hard for me to sort of verify who they are and really where they're from and all that kind of stuff. So I decided what better way to do this than to create a lovely community full of people where people can reach out to each other and help provide information. And so another flight student and myself, we created a Discord channel together that some of you might know. It's linked in the bottom of every one of my videos there. And since we started it, it's been amazing. We've had a bunch of really wonderful people join up. We've brought together a lot of resources. We've created spreadsheets with a lot of great information on the different flight schools and all those kinds of things. And in the beginning, we had a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I was fine because the Discord was quite small still. There were only about maybe 20 to 50 members. But now that we have more than 400 members, it's starting to get a little difficult when people come in and they ask the same questions over and over and over again. So I made this video at the request of some of the members to just give a brief introduction for people who maybe are new to Discord and are just starting out in their journey to become pilots, whatever their goal might be for that. And hopefully with this video, it'll help reduce some of the congestion in the Discord channel, as well as help increase everyone's awareness of all of the resources that are available to them in the Discord for people who maybe are not familiar with Discord, or even people who just joined the Discord recently and don't know where everything is at, because it is a big channel and even I get lost in it quite often. So first of all, let's just talk about how you can get to the Discord channel if you haven't found it yet. Like I mentioned, it's in the description of all of my videos. So here I am on my Late Departure channel. If I go to videos here, really I can click on any video and I can look in the description here and I can find the Discord link. So you see it right here, the discord.gg, and I'm going to highlight it and I can right click and click copy, or you can press Control C. I'll open up a new tab. And once I add the address here, I get to this page here. And I'm gonna log on to a different account here that hasn't had access to the server before, so people who are just joining the server can kind of figure out what to do here. So here we go. Okay, so I just logged in here. I'm gonna close the Student Hubs thing and just see what I can do in this channel. So right now I have to go in, click on verification. Now in the verification here, it's very important, go through, read the rules, find out what's important in this channel. And, we take it very seriously. We like to try to reduce things such as inappropriate posts and anything that's discriminatory or rude to other people as much as possible. And it's getting a lot harder now that there are more members, but in the future, we might be increasing our moderator staff as well to try to handle this. But in the meantime, just go in here, going to read through all these. So be nice to each other, no not safe for work content, no spamming, no tolerance towards discrimination. Very, very important here. So basically what we're going to do here is we need to click on the check mark. And once you see that I have clicked the check mark, then I have access to other stuff in here. Now, there's some really good advice here for role selection. So if I go over to the sanction tab here and click here, I can actually say what I am. So for example, if I'm just starting out, I could be a student pilot, maybe register as a private pilot or a commercial pilot or flight instructor or career pilot. We actually do have people from all walks of aviation life in here, so we have all kinds of pilots, but I can go here, let's say I'm a student pilot. and that will sign me up for the role here. You can see where I am in the list up on the top right hand side of the channel here. And so for people looking for flight school, specifically for international students, but I know that a lot of local students have joined in as well, it's good to head right over to the international student channel here. And clicking on this, you can see a lot of the stuff that's happening in this channel, and people are talking about various flight schools. But the first thing we want to do before we go and ask a bunch of questions about what's the best flight school and all that stuff, which by the way is not a good question. Remember, the best flight school is different for every single person out there. You're going to go in here and click on this pin on the top right of the page, because this is going to have a lot of information that we have pinned, we being like the moderators and people who have been in this Discord for quite a while. We've pinned some messages about various things. So for example, information that I've posted about steps that you should take when you're finding a flight school, some reviews about various flight schools. We've got information like responses from different flight schools, like things about Harv's Air that people are talking about. So a lot of people say, oh, I want to go to this flight school. Is it open? Well, it just so happens that 20 other people have also asked that flight school and they've gotten information about it. So it's important to check it out. Check the date on the pinned messages as well, because some of them might be a little bit late or old. And you can also see lots of information about what you need for certain visa permits. There's a lot of questions that have already been answered in these pinned messages here. And one of the best things here is, of course, the flight school spreadsheet, which I won't go into here, but I have talked about it in some other videos. You can check out my channel there and see those. I'll probably put like a link or a card somewhere around here that you can check out in the YouTube. And basically this spreadsheet will be an amazing resource if you're just getting into it, to find out what the comparisons of the different flight schools are, what the absolute bare minimum cost will be. And I really like to put an asterisk next to that, because you know, the bare minimum cost is really not what anyone is going to pay. Almost everyone is going to pay a lot more than whatever is listed here. So I know a lot of the costs say something around between like $60,000 to $70,000, but you can imagine that it's actually going to cost quite a bit more, because we base this off of an estimate, a fairly reasonable estimate on how much flight school might cost. But that being said, it's still not really realistic. But even then, if you go through this channel and you check out the pins, we have a lot of conversations about how much it actually costs to do your flight training. And that brings us to the next thing. So once we've looked at the pin messages, the next thing we want to do is go up to the search tab on the top right of the screen. And that's really important, because that's going to tell you, you know, a lot of the stuff that you might want to know. So if you want to search for something like, for example, how much, and you're going to find a whole bunch of people who have asked this question, and that you can go in and you can click on one of these links here and you can find out like how much one of these flight schools might cost you, or you can go to previous conversations right away. So for example, something that someone posted here, this is a whole conversation we had about, you know, how much does it cost? And some people are saying, oh, maybe it costs less than 70,000. And we had a whole conversation about the fact that it really isn't only $70,000, that it's actually a lot more. And so that's a really great way of finding out information. You can even search up specific schools. Like if you want to look up something like Harv's Air, for example, you can click Harv and you'll see a whole bunch of posts. And there, you can see here, there's 16 pages. If you look at the bottom of the search tab here, there's 16 pages of posts on Harv's Air and various different things about, you know, the school itself, what people have been saying about it. So it's a good idea to search for the flight schools that you might be interested in this search tab before you ask people in the channel about it. Again, I can't overemphasize this enough. Please try to search for the information before you ask, because likely tens, if not hundreds of people have already asked the exact same questions on the exact same schools as you. So instead of spamming the chat and making it busier, it's probably a good idea to go in here and check out what people have talked about before, and then you'll come into the conversation with a lot of knowledge, and this will also help you make decisions for your flight school in the future. So let's say that you've done this. I'm going to close the search window, And then you can go in here and you can ask questions about things. Now, there's one other thing I didn't mention. If you're from India, some of our Indian friends have gone through a lot of effort in a different channel. There's a channel down here called Info India DCGA that you can click on here that has another wealth of knowledge about all of the things that you would need to know in terms of what they require in terms of airplanes, medical, and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's great. And in the future, if we get some people from other countries who are looking into that, we might have some other channels as well for different countries that will help summarize that information and make it easy and accessible for people to go in and check out. So those are the three main steps. Number one, check the pin messages. Number two, search or use the search bar to find out specific information. And number three, then you can go on and ask some questions on the things you're curious about in terms of flight schools in Canada. So this community is quickly evolving and growing. There are so many people joining every single day from all around the world. And so you might be wondering, how can you contribute to this community and just help us continue making it into one of the best aviation communities on the internet? Because the truth of the fact is that right now it's really difficult to find out information about flight schools, about aviation. It's really hard with the current resources on Facebook and on some of the websites like AV Canada to really find out what it's like to fly in Canada. And that was my main challenge. So I'm really happy that we have this group. But what can you do to help make it even better? So the first thing is you can join us in adding information to the spreadsheet. So if there are flight schools that you're interested in, that you research and you find out information on, send me a message on Discord, send me the information, send me some pictures of like some screenshots of some communications you've had with the flight school or things like that I can add to the spreadsheet so that we can continue helping more students in the future so that they can have an easier time finding a flight school. And then the second thing is, when you finally go to a flight school, report back to the group. Let us know what your experience is like. What are the instructors like? What are the planes like? How is your experience going? What are the goods, the bads? What kinds of things are happening in your training? That's really, really awesome if more people can do that. And right now, this channel is kind of in its infancy because people like myself, I think right now of our 400 people, maybe only about 30 or 40 of the people, so roughly 10% of the people here, are actually doing flight training right now. And for the most part, a lot of us are pretty new to the world of flight training. That being said, a lot of us are available and we often answer people when they ask us about our own flight schools. So from my perspective, I'm going to Pacific Rim. So if people ask about Pacific Rim in Vancouver, then I can give them information about that. And then there are other people from Pacific Flying Club and various other flight schools in Vancouver, which again, this is one of the things that makes this community absolutely great, that you can go on and you can find out information from people in real time about the flight schools to help you make the decision on your flight school. And so when those other 360 plus members finally do go to a flight school, and I know a lot of them have signed up for like Canadian Aviation College, and some people are going to Harv's Air, all kinds of different schools across the country. And once these people start going to these schools, they're going to continue contributing to the channel, and we'll have, at some point, hopefully some students at every single flight school in the country who will be able to continue contributing and help make aviation an even more friendly and fun and inclusive environment. And of course, that's the ultimate goal of this channel. It's the whole reason why I made it in the first place, was to help, make the community a better place, make it more informative, help more people make right decisions for their flight schools, and actually just make informed decisions. Because like I said, when I started out, there was no information for me to get, very little information that was up to date on flight schools across Canada. And when you're spending anywhere from whatever it is, $70,000 to $150,000 on something, for me personally, I want to make sure I'm not wasting that huge amount of money, because it is no doubt a large amount of money, and anyone who's spending that money wants to be able to make the best decision. And if I can, I would be more than happy, and I love to help people make those informed decisions so that they can get the most out of their investment. So I know that was a lot of stuff, but I hope it was pretty organized and that you're able to understand what the Discord channel is for and how you can use it. And I look forward to having even more people join us in our wonderful community, and so that we can continue sharing this information and just have a better time in aviation overall. And just, the most important thing is to love flying and really enjoy going out flying. That being said, I hope all of you are having an absolutely amazing day. If you're out flying, have fun, fly safe. And I always love having everyone along with me here for this late departure. So remember, it's never too late. See you next time.